Hello everyone, my name is Chris Top and I'd like to welcome you to the Figuring Out Fatherhood Chris Unplugged podcast. This podcast is a bit of a spin-off of the Figuring Out Fatherhood series, which you can find on my YouTube channel. I'm going to add a link in the top left. I think it's top left. If it's not top left, in the next video it'll be my top right. But yeah, the link is going to be somewhere in the little corner over there. New episodes of this podcast come out every Tuesday at 8 p.m. British Standard Time. And what I do is I squeeze important life topics, fatherhood advice, and personal development topics that I've picked up in my journey into 8 to 12 minute bite-sized, easy to digest episodes, which can help you in your journey to becoming a better version of yourself. This podcast is an important part of my journey, and I'm excited to have you on it with me. And I'm also excited part of your journey as well. You can follow me on personal Instagram page, that's Chris_Topper. You can follow the Figuring Out Fatherhood page, that's Figuring Out Fatherhood _ all one word. And you can also subscribe to the website, which is www.figuringoutfatherhood.com. The website is currently under construction at the moment as I'm rebranding it, but do subscribe so you can keep up to date with everything we're doing. On today's episode, I'm going to cover 3 fundamental tips in order to successfully co-parent. These are tips that I've picked up over the last 4 years in my co-parenting journey and form the basis for a lot of what I do and decisions that I make as a dad. For those of you who don't know, I am a father to a 4-year-old girl and I have a fantastic working relationship with my mum, which has made the co-parenting journey much easier. I'm hoping these tips will also make your journey just as easy or even easier. Co-parenting really is when 2 parents who aren't romantically together come together for the benefit of the child. They raise the child. They should both share responsibility for that child. That's what it means to co-parent. Please don't think you are too old or you're too far gone. The relationship is too damaged in order for you to start working on these tips. These tips are meant to form the foundation towards successfully co-parenting. I'm not saying that this is all you need to do. I'm not saying that this is all that I've done. What I'm saying is this will form the basis of your co-parenting relationship. In no particular order, the first tip I want to show you is your emotions. And when I say your emotions, I believe that it's your responsibility as a parent to provide an environment as emotionally stable as you can provide. So what that means is focusing on your emotions and making sure that your emotions are stable as can be. It's well documented how women's emotions change, how they're impacted, not just women's actually, men's emotions are impacted as well over the course of pregnancy and once you're giving birth. There's postpartum depression, postmaternal depression, and as you're starting to establish a co-parenting relationship, what it is you're trying to do is when you choose to co-parent, what you're doing, you're choosing not to be together. You're choosing not to be together romantically, but instead choosing to work together to raise your child. So you owe it to the other parents, owe it to your child to get your emotions in check. And when I say in check, I'm not saying that just get over the situation immediately. But what I'm saying is be conscious of what you're putting out. Don't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Don't be here today, gone tomorrow. Don't think that one day you want to be with the other parent, next day you don't want to be with the other parent. If you choose to be with them wholeheartedly, with consent obviously. And if you choose not to be with them, do not be with them wholeheartedly. Don't flip-flop around the point. You don't want to create confusion in the minds of the other parent or in the minds of the child. This is specifically for men actually. Once she's had your child, like I said, if you choose to not be with her, do not be with her. Go about it the right way. Don't give her hope. Don't make her optimistic only for you to pull the rug from underneath her feet and she ends up doing it by herself. Focus on your co-parenting relationship first. Once that's established, then you're able to figure out if you want to. Focus on your co-parenting relationship. Get that to work. Once that's working, if organically something comes out of your relationship, that's great. If not, a great friendship can come out of that as well. So don't be close to that. And I know it's easier said than done. Like I said, we all go through different things over the course of a pregnancy and once the child is actually here. But again, this is for you men. No temper tantrums, no taking things personally. You need to understand that the woman has just had the child. Of course, her attention is going to be on the child. And don't take that as her neglecting you. This is just her focusing on the newborn. You're not a newborn. You've been on this earth for how long? Providing stability goes far beyond just material things or tangible things. It's also being emotionally stable. How much is having mood swings or temper tantrums? It's down to you to be steadfast in your decisions. It's down to you to be a rock in those moments. Be stable, provide stability. And notice that as well. Once you provide the clarity when it comes to your emotions, it allows other parties to start to move on with their lives. If you keep giving them hope and keep taking it away, it's unfair to them. Establish your boundaries and stick to them. You may get hate for it, to be honest, especially in the early stages if you decide you don't want to be with the mother or father of your child. But like I said, the clarity that provides will ensure that it pays off in the long run. What you don't want is to create a toxic environment where you're not happy, the mother or the father of your child is not happy, and that then feeds into your child is also not happy. So once you get your emotions in check, that will allow all parties involved to know how to move moving forward, i.e. they will know that you're choosing to be with them, they can choose to be with you, or they can choose not to be with you. But when it comes to your emotions, once that clarity is there, you're able to move forward with other aspects of co-parenting that need focus. Which brings me nice into the next fundamental tip, which is your finances. When it comes to your finances, the first thing I need to point out, in majority of instances, she's not trying to rob you. In majority of instances, she's not trying to spy you. But I am aware that there are certain instances where that applies, where she sees you as a meal ticket, or she's trying to harm your pocket because of what you've done to her. And at that point, you need to take a good hard look within yourself and think to yourself, why is this happening? Why is she doing this to me? How have I ended up with someone like this? These are key questions you have to ask yourself. But moving on from that, when it comes to your finances, another thing that's important is honesty. So another two things that's important is honesty and transparency. Because she's asking you for a figure. If you can't afford what she's asking for, you need to let her know you can't afford it. Don't let your pride hold you back. Don't be scared of someone calling you broke. There's no shame in not being able to afford what's being asked of you. What you can do at that point is let her know, or let him know, I can't afford what's being asked of me. And at that point, you can also say, this is what I can afford. And when it comes to agreeing a figure, the best advice I can give you is to start to plan for it before the child is even here. You know, between yourself and the other parent, you start to look at lists of things that a baby would need, and it will give you sort of a rough budget, and you can roughly agree on how much to spend each month, right? And then moving on from that, you can then have a review every 3 months, every 6 months, every year, whatever frequency benefits you, both you and other parent. Have a review of how much is being spent. Do you need more? Do you need less? Do you want to change the frequency of payments? Do you want to change how you're paid? You can have a review of it, and that way you can make sure it continues to benefit both of you. Continue to review the payments on a fairly regular basis. This ensures that all things are fair on both sides. I'm a big advocate for not going to court, especially in the UK, because in the UK there are loopholes, there are ways around that, which I'm not going to cover, but I'm not a big fan of that because the mother of the child could end up with a lot less than she should, unfortunately. And final thing, when it comes to payments, make sure you're doing about bank transfer as well. You want an audit trail at all times. And the thing is, now you know how much you need to pay each month. This will help you to budget for the rest of your life properly. Like now you know how much you need to pay your child's mum or your child's dad. You know how much you can add to your savings, you know how much you can add to your child's savings, you know how much more you need to make each month to meet the payments that were initially asked of you. The thing is, once you've sorted out a payment schedule and an actual monthly figure, you can now focus on other aspects of the co-parenting relationship, which brings us to the final fundamental tip, and this is your responsibilities. When I say responsibility, this could be potentially the most important of the 3 fundamental tips I've given you, because this is how you establish the type of person that you are. You agree to pick up a child at 9 a.m, be there at 8:55 a.m. You agree to drop them off at 5 p.m, be there at 4:55 p.m. What this is you're building trust, you're building equity with the other parent. You're letting them know that this is the kind of person that I am. I'm a responsible parent. I will be there and I will show up for my child every time they need me. But if you make a habit of turning up late, or you're dropping them back home late, or in some instances you don't even show up when your child needs you, you need to remember that there are not 2 people forming an opinion of you. There's the mother or father of your child who's waiting for you, or who has to pick up the slack when you're not there, and there's also the child as well. Obviously, it comes down to how the child is at that point in time, but the older they are, the more privy they are to your bad behavior. But in the first instance, you want to make sure the other parent is comfortable with you having your child. You want to help them feel comfortable with your parental abilities. You want them to feel comfortable knowing that when their child is with you, their child is in good hands. I don't know about you, but there are a few things in life that are worse than me constantly worrying about my child while she's with my mum, or I can't imagine, even worse, to be honest, is her mum worried while our child is with me, because that just says a lot about the kind of person I am and the kind of dad I am. And I don't want to be that dad that is letting people down all the time, or that is not spending enough time with my child, or is irresponsible, or just a source of different problems. That's not the kind of person I want to be. And with your responsibilities also, you also have a responsibility to communicate well. If you're running late, let the parent know you're going to be running late. If you can't make it, let them know why you can't make it. Don't make it a habit of running late or not making it when you're needed. Because what it is, you want to be believed when you're running late that something has actually come up that's made you be late. If you're constantly late, it's human nature. After a while, we're gonna stop believing you, and we're just gonna conclude that that's the kind of person you are. So like I said, you've got an opportunity to influence how the other parents can see you, because you need to remember that as young parents, or as parents to a newborn, they get to see a whole new side of you that they haven't seen before. They get to see you as a parent. So you decide what kind of parent you want to be. And that's a wrap. Those are my 3 fundamental tips towards co-parenting. Like I said, I mentioned emotions, I mentioned your finances, I mentioned your responsibility. Those 3 things are the 3 keys which have guided my fatherhood journey up until this point. These are the 3 things I keep in mind when I make any decision when it comes to life, really. When I think about dating, I can't think about dating without considering emotions, the emotions of my daughter's mum, my daughter's emotions, my emotions, even the new person's emotions. I can't bring someone new into an unstable or volatile environment. I can't think about dating without thinking about finances as well. How can I be going on dates if I don't know how much I spend in each month? How can I be going on dates if I don't have a budget? So once I make my daughter's payments each month and I put money in her savings, put money in my savings, I will know how much I have left. Go towards going out, go towards dating. I can't think about dating without thinking about my responsibilities even, because how am I planning dates if I don't know when I have my daughter? How am I planning dates if there's no agreed schedule? Because if we agreed a schedule, I know weeks and I know months in advance when I'm free, so I can actually schedule in, I guess, dates if I must. So yeah, just think about these 3 fundamental tips. Think about how you can apply them to your life. Think about how you can improve your co-parenting relationship. If you're a young parent, think about how you can establish a new successful co-parenting relationship. If you have any advice, any tips, anything that you feel like other young parents may benefit from, please let me know down in the comments. It's important that we come together as a community to share knowledge for the benefit of future generations. If you enjoyed this episode, learned something new, or you feel like other people may benefit from it, please ensure you share with your friends, share with your family members. Make sure you like it, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, it's Chris_Topper. Make sure you follow the Figuring Out Fatherhood page, that's Figuring Out Fatherhood, all one word, _. And make sure you subscribe to the website, that's www.figuringoutfatherhood.com. And the final thing I want to leave you with is make it your mission today to make a decision that future you will be grateful for. I promise you, future you will be grateful for working on that co-parenting relationship with the other parent. So until next time, guys.